I watched my David take off his jacket at the door, carefully hanging it on the hanger. He sets his briefcase on its side and places it on the small table in the hallway, centered. Only then does he raise his eyes and look around the hallway. His gaze lands on me sitting in the living room, and his eyes light up. "How is the love of my life doing?" he asked, and I felt the slight chill that always appeared when he spoke like that. Still, after 7 years. "Missing her handsome man," I answered, standing up, expecting a hug, longing for the feeling that comes over me when his arms wrap around me, surrounding me completely, pressing my body against his. Inhaling its smell, this incredible aroma. The only man I knew who didn't wear cologne or antiperspirant. It would be a crime to hide its essence. It's much better that he keeps himself clean, even using unscented soap, without hiding anything. His confident, long stride brought him to me within a few steps, and I opened my arms, wrapping them around his strong body, inhaling deeply. I felt itchy down there. The same one who said that tonight I would be there upon request. He got lucky. I felt a gentle push on the back of my head, tilting my head back so he could kiss me. His warm lips fell on mine. His breath is as fresh as mint. I learned this secret many years ago. In an instant, I was reliving that day, all my feelings intertwined to overwhelm me. I saw him look in the car mirror, fixing his hair and popping small mints in his mouth before entering the house. I felt a moment of jealousy, then complete devastation from the realization that I was not enough for him. He found me crying in the office. "Who is she?" I cried all those years ago. "Who is she, Anita? What's happened?" I should have looked at him, seen the worry in his eyes, listened to his voice. Everything was visible. He was mine, completely, without restrictions or reservations. He never gave me any reason to think otherwise. Still, I cried. "I saw you," I screamed. "You straighten your hair, wipe your face, take a mint to hide the evidence. Who is she?" Some men might laugh at me. Others would be angry. Not my David. He easily lifted me into his powerful arms and held me on his knees. "Her name is Anita. I've loved her my entire adult life. I never want to come to her house smelling like onions after dinner. I want to look my best for her, so I always check myself in the mirror before entering our house. Her name is Anita. She is the only woman in my life, now and forever." I knew it was true. I was ashamed of my doubts. I clung to his neck as he carried me upstairs, burying my face in his chest. I was still crying, unable to stop. I do not know why. It was stupid. No, that's a lie. I knew why I felt jealous, and it wasn't my husband's fault. David is Adonis. 6'3", 198 pounds. Never less than 195, never more than 200. His V-shaped torso, broad shoulders, and powerful arms exude masculinity. His movie star good looks attracted attention. He was not a handsome boy by any means. He was dark, gloomy, with deep eyes and wavy brown hair that he was trying to tame. Sharp, chiseled facial features. More like Sean Connery than Brad Pitt. His presence was commanding, his confidence overwhelming. When he entered the room, all heads turned. The women sighed, their eyes following his movements. They crowded around him, insignificant creatures, reaching out to him, touching his arms, shoulders, playing with their hair, laughing at his jokes, hanging on his every word. All in vain, because he was mine, and everyone knew it. That day he took me to our bedroom, wiped away my tears with his kisses, slowly undressed my body, teasing me, worshiping me. He mastered me as only he knew how, playing me like a maestro, making me cry for him, tremble, scream, moan. I lay there, exhausted, helpless, as he scrubbed me down with a warm washcloth before pulling me into his arms. "Never doubt my love for you, Anita. You are my one true love. Nothing I've ever felt compares. I never want you to feel jealous. No matter how many women I meet, no matter how many throw themselves at me, there is only one true love for me, now and forever. You have to believe in it. You must, Anita. I can't stand it if you doubt me. Not you." I felt his body tremble, and my heart broke into a million pieces. My idiocy, my baseless jealousy, my jumping to the most absurd conclusions hurt my man. My man, no, David, I don't doubt you. I'm sorry I behaved this way. I watched a stupid movie and it probably influenced me. There are so many failed marriages around us. They walked down the street and they dispersed. The Varden fight over custody again over the weekend. Dan Vargas cheats with his secretary. I know it's stupid, but sometimes I get nervous for no reason. You are the perfect husband, and I know it. You deserve better than me and better than my behavior. I'm sorry. That night, he calmed my fears, and I haven't had the same outburst since. I trusted him completely, unconditionally. He never gave me any reason to doubt him. Now I was in his arms again, my senses overwhelmed. I'm sure I yelped when he let me go. Now he will go to change his clothes. That's what he did. He'll take the jacket upstairs, turn on the shower. He'll hang his pants on his abs. He will take off his tie and return it to the tie rack in the only free space. Take off the shirt, fold it in half in both directions, and place it in the dry cleaning container. He will take off his V-neck t-shirt and take off his silk panties. Place them in the laundry basket before stepping under the shower head for a quick rinse. He won't wash his hair, just wash away the dirt of the day, a couple of minutes, no more, before leaving the glass cabin, freshening up, to be perfect. I watched him as I often did, preparing a towel for him, placing it in the ready place, choosing jeans and a casual shirt, arranged his shoes on the shoe rack. He often talked about his day, new clients, upcoming events, meetings, trips. Too many trips for my liking. I hated every minute of his absence, but it was rarely more than 2 or 3 nights every couple of weeks, mostly to boring places that made me feel sorry for him. I'm sure the places aren't that boring, but for me they had no appeal. Cleveland, Cincinnati, Baltimore, St. Louis, Charleston, San Antonio, Albany, Pittsburgh, Denver, Sacramento, Phoenix, the list is endless. Seeing his body, I felt that itch again. I opened my dresser, pulling out my naughty shorts. Narrow, too narrow, highlighting every hidden curve. I took off my shirt and bra, searching my drawer for what I needed. I pulled it over my body, adjusting my chest, lifting it and pulling it up to make sure my cleavage was visible to him. I removed the clip from my hair, shaking it out, letting it hang freely, almost to my shoulders. I responded to his comments with insignificant phrases, only half aware of what he was saying. David stepped out of the shower, and my eyes traveled over his strong body. He dried his hair with a towel, his words muffled. He shook his hair, his wild curls bouncing. He looked at me sitting on the edge of our bed and smiled. My heart beat faster seeing his instant reaction to me. He casually threw the towel to the side, so unlike him. I understood. This is how I influence him. I distract him from everything else. 7 years, and I'm still doing it. I posed for him, leaning on one arm, legs crossed flirtatiously, one calf swinging in the air. My head was tilted to one side, a knowing smile playing on my lips. One finger twirled a strand of my hair endlessly. He stopped right in front of me, that flesh shining. I sat up, smiling at him, my hand reaching out to lightly touch him. "Did you say something about the trip?" I teased. It's been a few days since I let him take over me. I don't know why I did this. I wanted him, damn it, almost as much as he wanted me, but it was all I had. The only way to maintain some modicum of control. I had a headache last night. The day before yesterday indigestion, it was real. But not today. Today, he will get what he wants. What we both wanted. He held me, soothing me, his lips comforting, his rough hands gentle in that moment, caressing me until I returned to earth. I looked up, and he was smiling at me. That amazing smile, his perfect teeth sparkling, his eyes bright and full of joy, the little wrinkles at the corners of his eyes showed his love and affection. "You are back," he teased. "One day you will kill me," I whispered, the words half a joke. He held me, and I pressed myself against him. "Dinner?" he asked. I defrosted the pork chops. "It takes only a few minutes." "How about we go somewhere?" I giggled. "You always love to show me off when I'm shining like this." His lips met mine, his tongue a teasing little demon. "You're right. I love it. Texas de Brazil. An endless banquet of beef. Need to regain your strength." Everything I really need is in my hands now, he whispered. And I knew it was true. As far as I knew anything in this world, this man loved me, and what I felt for him was far beyond simple love. Dinner was a playful affair, and I was again amazed at how much beef one person could eat while maintaining that strong body. He started talking again about his trip, which I had missed during my preparations earlier. And why? I asked. Probably Albany again, or maybe Buffalo. Big Apple. This is a huge deal, potentially. I hope I can get this account. Up the ladder of opportunity is incredible. Manhattan, Broadway, Times Square, Fifth Avenue. Who is the client? I asked. He seemed surprised. He stopped eating for a moment, smiling. You want to know? Of course, I want to know. You are my husband. What you do is important to me. The truth is, I barely knew what he did. I didn't need to know that. He provided us with an incredible standard of living, for which I was eternally grateful. I knew that it had to do with computers and some special programs, but that's all. This is a fashion agency, elite model. We present a multimedia system. He lost me after a few words, but I had heard about the elite model. It's not Ford or One, but it's a big name. He talked about working with some of the best models in the world. For a moment, I felt the green-eyed monster raise its head, but I instantly dismissed it. After what we just did, I knew he would work with geeks, not tall, skinny beauties who would steal him if they could. And why? Big Apple. City of Empire. The city that never sleeps. And my David goes there. That night, as we got ready for bed, I knew what I had to do. I took a long, soothing bath because I knew I would need it. I shaved my legs for him. She applied light makeup before putting on her sexiest lingerie. David was sitting in his office, working on some kind of presentation. When I had done all I could, I stood in the doorway of his office, leaning on the doorframe. How much longer, stallion? I asked, making my voice as languid as possible. He looked up and, without taking his eyes off me, closed the lid of his laptop. Anita, he moaned, the desire in his voice almost overwhelming. I need you, David. A couple of hours later, he was satisfied, and I was excited. I knew I would be out of the game for a few days, but it was worth it. Now he was mine, as vulnerable as ever. David lay with his head propped up on pillows, his chest glistening. Can I go with you? I asked. Should I go? We're not going anywhere. It's already past midnight. I have to get up in 6 hours. Silly. Go to New York with you. I thought he would be glad that I wanted to go with him. Love in the city of light. He could go to his meetings, and I could shop at Saks. Dinner at Keen's Steakhouse to satisfy his protein needs. Something tempting for the night to satisfy my needs. That would be ideal. We could watch Chicago, or maybe Mamma Mia. You know that I prefer to travel alone, Anita. His words stunned me. He loved being with me. How could he say that he preferred to travel alone? I won't interfere in your meetings, dear. This is New York. I always dreamed of visiting there. We can go on vacation. We'll plan everything. We'll see everything, he replied. I couldn't believe my ears. After everything I did for him. You don't want me to be with you? I asked. Not during business trips. It's only a few days every couple of weeks. You understand, don't you? No. No, I do not understand. You say you love me, you want to be with me, and then you say you don't want me to go to New York with you. I don't understand at all. He sighed. This is business, my love. I'll take you when it's just us. We can go to shows, go shopping, ride a carriage, and visit the best restaurants. We will do everything as expected. You don't want me with you when you travel. That's the thing, isn't it? You want to get rid of me, don't you? There's more to these trips than just trips, isn't there? He's going to a modeling agency. That's the problem. I understood. Bastard. I realized that everything was bad when he sat down and took my hands in his. He looked into my eyes, holding me tightly, waiting until I was completely focused. Anita, we have a wonderful relationship. I love you and you love me. I want you to listen to me and answer me honestly. Can you do this for me? It was some kind of trick, I knew it. But what could I do? I nodded. Am I a good husband? The best, I answered immediately, without hesitation. It was true. Am I denying you anything? Do I satisfy you in bed? Are you proud to be with me in public? Have I ever shown anything other than complete love and adoration? Someday, it was impossible to deny. You are the most amazing lover, and you give me everything I want and more. You are the most generous man in the world. I couldn't be prouder than when I walk into a crowded room on your arm, seeing how they look at you, how they react to you, knowing that you are mine and mine alone. Every day you prove your love for me, and I appreciate it. I never had any reason to doubt it. He nodded. That's exactly what I was hoping for. I will do my best to be the best husband for you. I love you more than I ever thought I could love anyone. He squeezed my hands and sighed. That's what makes it so hard to say. I would never hurt you for anything in the world. What? I asked nervously. Why is it so difficult to say? He got out of bed and quietly put on his boxers. I want you to think about this before you answer. Then I want you to be as honest as possible, okay? About what? You're scaring me, David. Ask yourself the same questions. Are you denying me anything? Do you satisfy me in bed? Am I proud to be with you in public? Have you ever shown anything other than complete love and adoration? Ask yourself these questions, and when you have the answer, come to my office. I can answer. No, he said firmly as he left. I don't want to see you for at least 10 minutes. Be completely honest with yourself. Think carefully about what I'm asking, and then we'll talk. He left, leaving me confused. Of course, I did my best to show my love. I adored this man. I repeated the questions in my head. Am I denying him anything? Am I satisfying him in bed? Am I proud to be with me in public? Was my love and devotion ever in doubt? How could he even ask such a thing? This is madness. I was his, heart and soul. Absolutely, without restrictions. And yet the questions continued to torment me. Why did he even ask if there was no doubt? Something was wrong. I answered questions about him easily, without thinking. Even as I thought about it, I couldn't find any other answers other than the ones I'd already given. He was absolutely devoted to me and put my needs and desires before his in everything. In everything except this trip. Am I denying him anything? Of course, he couldn't talk about sex. Of course, I teased him sometimes, but that was part of the game. Remembering the last few nights when he came to my bed, trying to hug me, and I refused him. Of course, he didn't expect sex every day. This is completely unreasonable. We had sex 2 to 3 times a week. This is more than many of our friends. If he didn't leave me so sick, maybe we could do this a little more often. I knew I was satisfying him when we did this. Why else would he want to spend so much time with me? Is he proud to be with me? God, I hope so. I tried to look good for him. Maybe I'm not a trophy wife. My breasts aren't huge, but in 20 years he'll be grateful when they don't hang down to my waist. I may be a little more overweight than I was when we got married, but a lot of men like it. He seemed to enjoy grabbing my ass, touching me, caressing me. I knew I pissed him off when I cut my hair, but he shouldn't be the one messing with it. Long hair is a headache. This makes it much easier to care for them. I looked damn good, damn it. I dressed well when we went out, so I wasn't on his level, causing everyone to turn heads when I walked into a room, but it wasn't a fair comparison. He knew this when he married me. I was pretty and attracted a lot of attention, so I was not a Hollywood actress, a playboy, or a cover girl. I wasn't a monster. Why was he asking me these questions? Why? Of course he doesn't think I didn't love him. I loved him with all my heart and soul. Of course, I was sometimes jealous. But didn't that prove that I loved him? Didn't that prove that I loved him? I was confused, I was hurt, I was scared. I felt angry. I looked at the clock and realized that it was almost 1 in the morning. How long have I sat here, lost in thought, analyzing my behavior, reconsidering every aspect of our relationship over the past few years? I got out of bed, put on my nightgown, and put on my robe. I walked down the stairs and headed to his office. He was sitting there, holding a glass of something brown in his hands, probably his whiskey. He looked at me, and I saw sadness and concern in his eyes. Nervousness. He was no less uncomfortable than I was, maybe even more. I sat down next to him, not knowing where to start. Where to start? What did he want to hear from me? I love you, Anita, more than anything else. You should know that, he said softly. I nodded. But that's not the question, is it? He shook his head. Do you think I'm turning you down, David? Do you think that I don't satisfy you? Aren't you proud to be with me? His gaze was painful and unyielding. I want to hear your answer first, my love. The words came out like an endless stream. All the cases when I refused him something and the reasons, excuses. Every time I said no for any reason. A few minutes later, I felt ashamed of how often I had done this over and over again, using sex to get my way, pushing him to do what I wanted, getting what I wanted over and over again. Am I satisfied? When we did this, I believed yes, most times. Of course, sometimes I stopped everything before he wanted, okay, maybe a lot of times, but that's because he was insatiable. 3 or 4 times a night, if it were up to him. I knew I left him unsatisfied sometimes, and even more times when I wasn't up to it or had my own goals, but we had a great sex life. Didn't we just prove it? He listened calmly, nodding occasionally, without interrupting. I looked up at him, feeling the tears ready to fall and make a fool of me. Aren't you proud to be with me, David? Am I a troll for you? He stood up and took my hand, lifting me off the couch. He hugged me, then took off my robe, silently. He kissed me with passion before removing my nightgown. He then slowly took off his robe and kicked off his boxers. He hugged me, then took me by the shoulders and turned me around. I stood in front of the mirror on the back of the door that he looked in every morning before leaving for work. He stood nearby, silently, forcing me to look at him. It was a brutal realization. I let myself go. Not terrible, but of course I was not the young, slender woman he married 7 years ago. He looked better than then, body carved from granite, perfection. I had love handles. Stomach, my hips become wider and lower. Hips are thicker. My face is too full. My eyes are almost beady. I even have a double chin. My hair was a mess, boring. Without makeup, I looked pale and lifeless. I buried my face in my hands and cried, and he picked me up in his powerful arms and carried me to our bed as if I weighed nothing. At 5 feet 4 inches tall and weighing 152 pounds, that was hardly the case. He laid me in bed with his arms around me, surrounding me with his love. He loved me despite all this. I knew that I loved it. He showed me this all the time. Why, David? How can you love me so completely? I asked. He chuckled, squeezing me. I have always loved you, Anita. From the very first time I saw you. I do not know why. Why does the sun shine? Why is the ocean blue? I love you more than I've ever loved anything in my life, and I will never love anyone the way I love you. Am I a bad wife? No, my love. You are a wonderful wife. It's me. Sorry, but sometimes I need more. More? More than what? More than I could give? I don't understand. I know. It is not your fault. I love you with all my heart, never doubt that. But I need more, much more than you can give me. And it's not your fault. I don't blame you or blame you. This doesn't diminish my love one iota. I felt a cold run through my body. My heart was pounding and my skin felt sticky. What do you want to say? Do not talk in riddles. I try to be as honest as I can. Anita, my love, my life. I need my trips. To get what I need. To balance the scales a little. They don't change anything between us, except that they make me love you even more. My God, is he saying what I'm thinking? Because I refuse you. Because I don't satisfy you. I need more, that's all. A couple of times a month, I can get my fill. Release your demons, let go of control. Do whatever I want, as much as I want, without worries or worries. You have to understand, this is my problem, not yours, and I wish I was stronger. I could do this for you. Whatever you need, David. I am your wife. You don't need other women. He pulled me closer, hugging me. I wish it were so. Don't you think that I would rather be with you, my one true love, than with any other woman, no matter how young, beautiful, or ready she may be? I tried, my love. God knows I tried. 3 long years before I couldn't take it anymore. Young, beautiful, ready. 3 years? These are other women, I said coldly. Yes, a lot. How long? 4 years. A couple of times a month, 2 to 3 days each time. Maybe once or twice a year for a week. That's all. That's all? That's all. You are cheating on me. You're changing. Bastard. All these years, and I thought that you loved me. You fooled me. How could you? I felt him tense. I looked at him and saw not shame or regret, as I expected, but anger. You know that I love you, Anita. If I didn't love you so much, you would have left long ago. You are my heart and soul, even if I am not yours. I put everything on the line for you every day. I give you everything I have. And you play your damn games, deny me over and over again. Don't say I don't fucking love you when you know it's a lie. But you're with other women. Young, beautiful. And I don't like any of them. They give me what I need so that I can come back to you and be what you need. What does he need? What I can't give. Does he realize how much he's hurting me? How painful are his words? To think that I am not enough for my man, that he needs to look for satisfaction on the side. I freed myself from his embrace, and he didn't begin to hold me back. I need to be alone, David. I need to think about this. You hurt me badly. I have to tell you this. I don't think I've ever felt such pain. He nodded. I know, and I'm sorry. I needed to be honest with you. Believe me, seeing you in such pain cuts me to the core. Maybe. But on the other hand, I never cheated on him, right? I left our bedroom and headed to the guest room. I'm not enough for my man. It was hard to comprehend. I spent a difficult day thinking about his confession, wondering how it would affect us. If I had not insisted on going with him, I would have allowed him to take me on a separate vacation. Nothing would change today. Perhaps, but I still wouldn't be enough for him. I couldn't satisfy him. He wouldn't be proud of me. He would still cheat on me over and over again with younger, beautiful, sexier, more willing women. Why didn't he tell me? Why didn't you give me a chance? I thought about it, about all the times over the years when he had encouraged me, gently pleaded, about the times when I refused him, about the diets that I tried and quit, about unused gym memberships, about the days spent watching my TV shows instead of trying to be who he wanted me to be. Every morning he got up at dawn to go to the gym. He ran 5 miles every day during lunch to stay in shape. My exercise involved standing up and turning off the TV if I couldn't find the remote. Maybe an hour of housework every day, with cleaners coming in twice a week for a deep clean. My day consisted of watching TV, shopping, reading, doing a few household errands, meeting other wives, visiting cafes, gossiping. $10 a day for drinks at Starbucks, including tip. I could change. I know I could if I had the chance. I called the gym and found out I was still a member. David never gave up on me, paying my dues. I was the one telling him I still went there from time to time when he commented on my shape. Softly, of course. It still pissed me off. My hair was terrible. I could grow them for him. We could afford better salons. I could leave them to their mercy and let them do whatever they wanted out of me. I would never say no to him in bed again. I could endure a little pain for my husband. I prepared a good dinner, something hearty for him, something lighter for myself. I was going to go on a diet and exercise. Nothing will stop me from being the best I can be. That's all I could do, honestly, to be the best for him. And if that wasn't enough? What if that really wasn't enough? What then? He returned home on time as usual and went through his usual motions. I saw him stop and take a deep breath, his eyes searching for me. I cleaned everything I could and waited for him in my apron. Something smells delicious, he said. Dinner is in 30 minutes. Take off your clothes, relax, have a drink. I will call you when everything is ready. Not a word about our conversation last night. He came up to me and hugged me, as always. He hugged me and kissed me as if he had been gone for a week. and not just a few hours. I melted. I love you, Anita, more than anything else, he admitted. I know. I love you too, heart and soul. This brought me another kiss. I know. I slipped out of his arms. Go. I'll call you in a minute. We only talked about it when we went to bed. When he reached out to me, his hand caressing my chest, showing his need, I gave in to him. He was gentle, loving, 3 times. After the second time, I went downstairs to excite him again. I knew he liked it. I've never done this before, but now everything has changed. I could be what he needed. When he finished, the bed was a mess. He helped me change the sheets, and we showered together, intimately. Returning to bed, we hugged. Was that better? I finally asked, breaking the silence. It's always wonderful with you, Anita. I love you, and that changes everything. But still not enough. He took a deep breath. If we did this every day, just that, and no more, no, it still wouldn't be enough. Do you want unconventional sex, David? You can do it. I won't refuse you. I love you so much that I never want to deny you anything. He hugged me tighter. I still need more. More? What the heck? His lips gently touched my forehead. His hands were still caressing my naked body. I touched him carefully. I was afraid that he would get excited and want it again. Crap. Maybe he wanted it again. Was this the reason? Maybe I should please him. Until the end, it could have worked. On the other hand, he said, perhaps this would not be enough. I had to do something. I wasn't enough for my man. I'll go to New York, I said firmly. No, darling. It's my time. You must understand. I'll go, David. I must. I need to understand. I want to see what you're doing. See what these women do for you. What can they offer that I can't? I'll go with you, and that's final. He was silent, hugging me carefully. I don't think this is a good idea, Anita. I'm your wife, damn it. I should know. I want to be everything you need. I want to do everything I can to make you happy. It's not right that you have to look for someone else to satisfy you. Please, David, if you love me at all, help me understand. I don't know what he was thinking as he lay there in silence. His hands stopped moving, stopped caressing me. I think this is a mistake, but you know that I cannot refuse you anything. I'll take you, but you shouldn't interfere. You can watch, but don't interfere. Understand, this is as important for your good as it is for mine. I promise, you won't even notice my presence. He laughed mirthlessly. I always know that you are nearby. God help me. I had no idea what he meant, but it didn't matter. I was driving. I was going to New York, and I will definitely find out what these women have that I don't have. I only had a few days to do my best. A few hours at the gym every day wouldn't do much this week, but I was determined. A complete spa treatment took care of my skin and nails, and trusting Mario to give me a reasonable hairstyle. He wanted to cut it and layer it, but I had to be firm and tell him I wanted to grow it out. I let the best stylists at Lord and Taylor do their best. David told me to dress business casual. I left $1,500 poorer, but I felt great in my new clothes. I thought I looked damn professional. By Thursday, I started to get nervous. I thought I looked great and hoped David thought so too. My bags were packed with enough clothes for at least a week. They stood next to the door while I waited in excitement. David asked me to be ready by noon. By the time he arrived, I had almost changed my mind about going. He opened the door and saw me. He smiled. You look great, Anita. I stepped forward, accepting his hug. He kissed me. Are you sure you want to do this? This is your last chance to refuse. I'm not sure of anything, but I have to do it. I understand, David said. He carried the bags to the car, and after loading them, he opened the door for me. I knew this was my last chance to refuse. I sat down in the chair, not having the slightest idea how this would change my life. As we pulled away from the curb, David pulled a leather folder from behind his seat. He handed it to me. You will be my assistant on this trip. Your name is Anna Robinson. You will address me as Mr. Connors or Sir. Do you understand, Anna? Yes, sir. If anyone asks, you've been working with me for 8 weeks. You are my personal assistant, a very personal assistant. You will not be required to attend any meetings, but you will be at my disposal the rest of the time. Clear? Yes, sir. My meetings start at 10 in the morning tomorrow. I'm not sure how my evening will go while everything is in progress. I assume that I will be unavailable until at least 7 in the evening. I'll be in my room no later than 11. You'll have an adjoining suite for the sake of appearances. I'll text you if you need me sooner. He was so different, so demanding and controlling. Was this his business behavior? Sighed David, about whom I knew nothing. I understand, Mr. Connors. His hand reached out and grabbed mine. He squeezed it. I love you, Anita. You must remember this. Whatever happens this weekend, you have to remember that. I know you love me, David. There was never any doubt about it. David has traveled well. We had first-class tickets and waited in the elite lounge. The waitress there flattered him, which is not surprising. We sipped our drinks and waited to be called. The flight attendants on board were no better. They were surrounded by David as if he were a celebrity. I, on the other hand, had to ask for ice 3 times. Upon arrival at LaGuardia Airport, we were one of the first to leave the plane. As I left the security area and headed towards my luggage, I noticed David looking around. He took me by the hand and led me to a man in a dark suit. The man was holding a tablet with the name David Connors on it. David made his presence known, and the driver followed us to the baggage claim area. The driver loaded our bags onto a cart and directed us to a waiting limousine. I'm Jake, Mr. Connors, and I'll be your driver for the next few days. He opened the door and stepped aside. Thank you, Jake. Tomorrow from 10 in the morning until 7 in the evening, I will be unavailable. I would like you to take Miss Robinson wherever she wants. Of course, sir. It will be my pleasure. David put his arm around my waist and led me to the door. He whispered in my ear, "Don't be surprised. Sit closer to the front." It was difficult to fulfill his request. An attractive brunette sat in the back seat, wearing only her underwear and high heels. She smiled at me and didn't show the slightest sign of confusion. I sat down on the side seat. David followed me, patting my ass before sitting down in the seat next to the mystery woman. He took off his jacket and handed it to me. I was still in shock. I folded him and placed him on the seat next to me as he relaxed, sighing. Jessica, it's always nice to see you. The woman leaned over and kissed him as we drove off. It wasn't a little kiss. How long has it been, handsome? Asked David. 4 months. I started to think that you didn't love me. Her voice was deep, husky, and incredibly sexy. Hardly. You know that you are my favorite. There was just a lot of traveling out west. You should call me David. It doesn't matter to me to fly further if necessary. You know that I will always find time for you. He laughed, caressing her body before kissing her again. My expense account is not unlimited, Jess. To hell with the expenses. I'll cover the difference. Just call me. Don't leave me hanging for 6 months. She pouted as soon as she finished speaking. David nodded, pushing her hair back. The face that appeared was simply stunning. Magazine cover material. That was careless of me, Jess. I'm sorry. He kissed her lightly. The good news is that if I can pull this off, I will travel here more often. You know who I'll call. Really, David? Lord, how I missed you. Show me beauty. Remind me why you're always first on my list. She began to give him pleasure. His eyes snapped open, and he looked at me nervously. So this is how his trips go. Crap, is something wrong, love? Asked the woman. There's been a lot of stress lately, he admitted. David looked at me again. I tried to smile as if everything was fine. I think that was enough because he closed his eyes and moaned with pleasure. I crawled up the seat to get a better view. Yes, he was excited. Bastard. Horny for this bitch. My small movements, shifting around the seat, placed me at the end, her action taking place only a few feet away from me. I looked up and saw David looking at me. I saw this look, his animal needs. Show me your breasts, Anna. Several seconds passed before I realized what he was saying to me. Anna. I was Anna, no longer his Anita, telling me to show him my breasts. Now, in this damn limousine with some bitch. Breasts, Anna. Now, David growled. Crap. I felt my ears starting to turn red, so I took off my jacket, folded it, and laid it on top of his. I unbuttoned my blouse and pulled it open before unclasping my bra and exposing my breasts to my husband. Jess slipped out of his arms, smiling. Damn, David, it was fast. What, your wife doesn't take care of things at home? He looked at her, and she stepped back, falling on her butt. God, I'm sorry, David. I did not want to. I didn't think so. Please forgive me. Not a word about her, Jessica, he said sharply, his eyes blazing as he looked at his weekend toy. You know better. Not a word. She looked scared. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Never again, I swear. It's been too long. I forgot, okay? I did not want to. I know. We all know. The fire in his eyes faded, and a gentle expression returned to his face. He stroked her cheek with the back of his fingers. For a moment, I thought she tensed, as if she expected him to hit her. How could she know my husband so little? Anna, give me my plan. Again, the strange name unsettled me for a moment. I took the folder and leafed through the contents. It wasn't difficult. One page, printed on both sides. At the top it said, Plan, in big letters. I pulled it out and handed it to him. Jake, how much longer? He asked loudly. No more than 5 minutes, unless traffic gets in the way, the driver replied. David nodded. He looked at me and handed the piece of paper back. Confirm your dinner reservation. Yes, sir, I said, feeling oddly comfortable as his assistant. Less than a minute later, I hung up. Confirmed for 7 this evening, Mr. Connors. Table for 2. He nodded. Jake, I'll be needed at 6:45. After you drop Jessica and me off for dinner, take Anna wherever she wants. Pick me up at 9 and we'll go back to the hotel. Take me wherever I want. Dinner for 2, but I wasn't invited. How could he? I closed my bra and buttoned my shirt, looking at him. He looked unhappy, but didn't say a word. Damn good thing I didn't say that. That's enough, Jess. We're almost there. When he had tidied himself up, she took out some fabric from under the seat. After a moment, she tried to straighten it. One shoulder was crushed, and I leaned over to help her, turning it and straightening it out. She looked at me over her shoulder and smiled. Thank you, Anna. Never touch my husband again, I wanted to shout. Instead, I nodded. Lovely dress. She beamed as she looked at David. Do you like it, David? He looked her up and down. I like cream better. His words shocked me, so cold and cruel. He could tell her how good she looked, that much was obvious. I remembered the way he looked at me when he picked me up from the house, telling me I looked great. Men, I teased. Your underwear would be visible under something lighter. You look great. Jessica was still getting ready and smiled at me gratefully as we pulled up to the curb. The doorman opened the door and David extended his hand to me. I was confused for a moment, then I handed him the jacket. With the door wide open, he put on his jacket and Jessica adjusted his collar. He stepped out of the limousine, standing straight, adjusting his jacket as I hurried behind him. He didn't even look back, heading towards the entrance as Jessica and I hurried after him. The limousine driver was unloading our luggage, and I had to rely on his integrity. David walked up to the counter while Jessica and I stood behind him. She put her hand on my arm. I wanted to push her away, but I didn't dare make a scene. He turned and handed us each a card from the room. 1014, he said. That's all. He headed towards the elevator, and we followed, the porter not far behind, his red velvet cart covered in brass loaded with our belongings. The staff didn't try to get into the elevator with us, waiting for the next one. David entered the elevator and swiped his card across the slot before pressing the button for the top floor. You need a card to access the upper floors, he said simply, I assume, for my information. Unpack. My number is in 15 minutes. I looked at Jessica, who in turn looked at me. The door opened and I stepped out of the elevator, stepping forward to read the room numbers. David was behind me, then turned right. I followed him, as did his bitch. None of this made sense. The way he acted, not only in the limousine, but in the lobby and now. It was like we didn't exist, like we didn't matter. This was not my David. He didn't even acknowledge us as he opened the door and entered his suite. Jessica and I walked down the hall, and I used the key card for the next door. We entered the luxurious room, through the living room into the bedroom, where there was one large bed. I returned to the living room, where Jessica was pointing the porter to the bedroom. She took everything for granted. I opened my purse for a tip, and the porter retreated. Everything has already been paid for. Have a nice holiday. And he left. Jessica had already opened her suitcase on the bed, unpacking her things. We need to hurry. You know how he feels about punctuality. Actually, I didn't know. That is, yes, in terms of work he was strict, but in our life not so much. If I needed extra time to get ready, he always said it was worth every minute. I opened my wardrobe case and hung up my business suits and dresses. Jessica hung hers next to mine, and I felt like an old school teacher compared to her. My one suit probably contained more material than all her outfits combined. I saw that she was nervous, choosing what to wear. Having packed my things, I went to her clothes. I looked at each one quickly. This. Is it true? Do you think so? Why? Jessica asked. He'll like it. She began to undress completely. She rummaged through her suitcase before finding a matching thong. Tell me, sister, how is he really? Jessica asked. I started undressing too, very conscious of how I looked compared to her. I didn't look that good. What you see is what you get. Is it true? I always thought it was some kind of game. Macho, dominant, controlling super male. I put on panties and a matching bra. I saw that Jessica was missing a bra, which was understandable given the dress I had chosen. This is not a game. You see the real David. Few people see. I don't know why I lied to her. She leaned towards the mirror, fixing her makeup, fiddling with her hair. I walked up behind her, took the brush from her, and straightened her hair, which was tangled at the back. Her grateful and nervous look bothered me. I always get so nervous around him, she said quietly. You should know what I mean. I nodded, although I really had no idea. She turned to me and ran her hands over her dress. What do I look like? I couldn't help but smile. Amazing. Holy and bitch. Beauty and audacity. He will be delighted. Jessica chuckled, and I saw a flicker of sadness on her face. I think we both know the truth about this. In his heart of stone, there is only room for one love. I almost ruined everything today, didn't I? Spoiled it? When I mentioned his wife, the biggest sin. Lord, can you imagine what she must be like to melt such a man? I laughed. I imagined it very well. Are you jealous? Jessica's laugh was light and natural. That's not the right word. Is it really not interesting how he is with her? How he behaves, what his feelings are? I try not to think about it, to be honest. She nodded, glancing at the adjoining door. I guess not. It must be difficult to be around him all the time. It would drive me crazy, I think. Bitch straightened my dress and ran her fingers through my hair, straightening it. I looked at it again and realized what was missing. I opened my makeup bag and pulled out the black velvet antique cameo choker that David loved so much. It matched her dress and long, graceful neck perfectly. I turned her towards the mirror and placed it on her neck. What do you think? I asked. You do not mind? No. I think it's the perfect accessory. She turned and suddenly hugged me. God, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so nervous, so tense. I always think that I will ruin everything. You saw me in the limousine. I was a bundle of nerves. Sharing this with you is perfect. I almost felt sorry for her. I think it's time. She quickly opened the adjacent door on our side. The door on his side was still closed. Her hand slid into mine, and I felt how wet it was. She looked at me, down to be precise. In her heels, she towered over me, just like David. "Oh my God, Anna, how can you be so calm?" I squeezed her hand, stood up, and adjusted her necklace. "I think I've gotten used to it. We've been together for quite a long time." "Bitch, you're teasing me. God, it's so easy to hate you," she giggled, and I realized that she was saying this as a joke. It's funny, my thoughts were almost the same, but without the humor. I should have hated her. All of it. Her perfect body, big breasts, long, luxurious hair. For some reason, I felt sorry for her. The door handle turned, and her hand squeezed mine painfully. The door opened, and she almost rushed into another room, dragging me along with her. David stood there in his robe, looking as usual, stunningly beautiful. Jessica let go of my hand, standing nervously. Her voice sounded calm, but now I knew it was a game. "Hi, handsome. Do you like us?" She turned around slowly before looking at him again. A poor girl. He glanced at her briefly before looking back at me. He raised his hand, making a circular motion with his finger. I turned for him, acutely aware of my shortcomings. "This is new, isn't it?" he said, and I saw a hint of a smile. I nodded. "I wasn't sure you'd like it. This is Anna's choice. I can go back and wear a cream outfit," Jessica blurted out. "No, it's perfect." I saw how his face changed. Wrinkles appeared on his forehead. He stepped towards her, raising his hand. He reached for her neck, his thumb running over the face of the cameo we bought in Italy 4 years ago. He turned to me, raising his eyebrows. "It fits well, doesn't it?" I said nervously. I scolded myself for my reaction. I didn't need to be nervous. He looked Jessica up and down. "Stunning, as always, dear Jessica. And yes, I like the outfit. The whole ensemble, almost as beautiful as what it contains." I saw her physically relax, leaning towards my man, raising her arms to wrap around his neck. "We have just over an hour left," she said softly. "How do you want me?" He smiled and led her to the sofa. David looked at me, then nodded towards the sofa. I sat down just a few feet from Jessica's head. He started having sex with her. He didn't talk much. That was the only similarity between what he did to me and what they did. He never bent me over the furniture and didn't have it. It wasn't his style. Our lovemaking was almost always confined to the bedroom. He would never dare spank my ass like that. I was starting to understand. I wasn't sure I liked it. I was torn. I wanted to grab this bitch by the hair and pull her away from him. Make her sit and watch. Watch how he is with me. See what true love is. Rub it on her nose. At the same time, there was something, I don't know, rough about what was happening in front of me. It was sex. Hard, necessary sex. Without love, there is little even affection, at least on his part. I pulled my dress higher, exposing more to his greedy eyes. I stood up, and he looked at me nervously. I straightened my dress and walked over slowly, standing next to her, watching Jessica try. Believe me, her efforts were impressive. I hugged his waist, holding the bitch's hair so we could see better. "Are all your conquests so beautiful and talented?" "Jessica is the best, but the others are close," he whispered. "Honestly, there are times when I need 2 women to match her." She looked at him with adoration in her eyes. "Am I really the best, David? Worthy? You haven't called me for 4 months." His gaze softened, and he touched her cheek. "You are worthy, beautiful, the best of them all. There will be no more breaks like this." "Damn," the bitch laughed. "I think you really missed me. It was incredible, even for you, David." He smiled at her, then looked at me, grinning. "I'll be back in a few minutes. Get yourself in order. We're going to dinner." Jessica took my hand, and we headed back to our suite. I followed her into the bathroom while she sat on the toilet, talking non-stop. "Did you see this, Anna? I think I'm finally starting to get there. Is this surprising? Honestly, Jessica, you're pretty incredible." She laughed. "Yes, for anyone, but not for him. This man is like a machine, but so emotionless it's scary. Do you think it's because of the time apart? Maybe he was just showing off. Anyway, I can't wait for dinner. I saw her tense, her face taking on a worried expression. Oh my God, Anna, listen to what I'm saying. This must be very difficult for you, seeing him all the time and then watching him with a woman like me. Is this something new? I shook my head, sitting her down in front of the mirror and picking up a brush for her hair. No, he's not like that. I am his assistant, but not his slave. He wouldn't force me to do anything. Will you be with us later? Jessica asked. It's his decision, I guess. She grabbed my arm. I saw the way he looked at you. I think he could give you a chance. When it gets hot, the situation gets out of control. If you'll come to us, then I can try to convince him to give you a chance. You should give it a try. It's like nothing else. She turned my head from side to side, looking at me. You're beautiful, you know. You just don't know how to show it. Show? I gave it the best I had. I spent almost $800 on professionals to get where I am. It doesn't matter, I said. Jessica smiled, lifting the hem of her dress and adjusting her thong. It sure does. I'm telling you, Anna, we could do this. Just say the word, and I'll make you turn heads wherever you go. Damn it, why does she have to be so cute? Bitch, stealing my husband. Let's see. Tomorrow, when he's at his meetings, do you have something better? Better? This is New York. Broadway shows, museums, shopping. Nothing. Are you sure you don't mind? She hugged me tightly, almost breaking my back. It will be wonderful. We will spend so much time together. Yes, I bet. I continued to hope that he would change his mind, but it seemed that I simply did not exist. We got into the limo and Jake dropped the two of them off. I sat closer to the front and spoke through the dividing window. Where? He laughed. Isn't that my question? I've never been here. I don't know anything. Hungry? He asked. I'd like to eat. Great. I know a place with outdoor tables, great food, nothing too heavy. If you don't mind the company, we can eat and people watch. That's what we did. He was great company. Jake knew everyone and everything about the city where he worked and lived. He told stories about some of his famous clients, celebrities, foreign dignitaries, and politicians. Apparently, my husband's antics in the limousine were not at all uncommon. You're close to him, aren't you? He asked. These words took me by surprise. You could say that. I noticed. When you work with people like that all the time, you start to recognize it. She's amazing, but I have a feeling he'd rather be with you. Call me an idiot. You're not an idiot, Jake. No, here and now Jessica is the right choice for him. He needs me, but not for this. I wondered if he would start flirting with me. I may not have been Jessica, but I knew I looked good. I caught more than one man passing by giving second glances. But no, Jake was a gentleman and very professional. He was funny, charming, and interesting, but he never flirted or did anything inappropriate. When the message arrived, I had already paid the bill, and we rushed to pick up my husband and his mistress. They looked happy and attracted a lot of attention as we pulled up to the curb. A few minutes later, she climbed into the car, giggling and slightly tipsy. She lifted her dress up to her hips before she even sat down. When she saw me, she smiled widely. Anna, did you have fun? Yes. Yeah, Jake and I were people watching, I explained as David climbed into the car. She pulled off her panties while David adjusted himself. Ready for some dirty business? She laughed. I couldn't help but laugh. Maybe not as ready as you. The door had barely closed when David began to take off his pants. Are you drunk, Mr. Connors? I teased. Not drunk, he said. Then he smiled. But not sober either. Damn, I'd love to see that. My David, drunk to the point of insensibility. I can't remember when this happened. It was only a few minutes from the hotel we were staying at, and it wasn't until we pulled up to the curb that she got off it. He stepped out of the limo, nodding to Jake. It's 9:30 tomorrow morning, he said, and entered the building. I stayed outside the limo so Jessica could get ready, and then we followed my husband, holding hands. "How much did he drink?" I asked. Jessica leaned heavily on me. "I don't know. A lot. We had 2 bottles of wine and drinks." "Will the surprises ever end? Should we go to his room?" I asked. "No. We have to get ourselves in order and wait for his call. He always calls home first. I hope it's a good call. When he's in a bad mood, he's a real threat." We were standing at the elevator. He didn't even wait for us before getting up. In the room, we took turns taking showers. She walked away from the mirror and looked at herself. "I think that's it," she sighed, looking at her reflection. I do not know why. Her body was perfect. I followed her into the bedroom, still shocked by her preparations. She put on something silky, and I pulled out one of my new purchases, an almost transparent negligee that I thought was very sexy. He hid most of my shortcomings, emphasizing my strengths. She lay down on the bed, watching me. "Do you want to warm up?" "Warm up?" I squeaked. She grinned, stood up, took my hand, and pulled me onto the bed. "You're straight, right?" she asked, her face an inch from mine. "I think yes." She brushed my hair back and kissed me. My first kiss with a girl, delivered by one of my husband's mistresses. It was different, softer, more gentle. She pulled away, smiling at me. "Come on, Anna, you can do better," she whispered. After a few more tries, I proved her right. This was so wrong, I thought. Not half as wrong as everything else, but still. Then he stood there, looking at us. For a moment, I was afraid. I was terrified. He smiled and extended his hand. "Let's go, ladies." We both stood up, and he took our hands. We had to turn around to squeeze through the doorway, and here we were in his bedroom. He let go of Jessica and hugged me. I received a small kiss, and he directed me to the chair next to the bed. I sat up nervously, and he leaned down and kissed me again. "You have never looked more beautiful," he told me. I must have blushed. He turned to Jessica. His gaze was not nearly as kind. "Take everything off, until the last minute." She quickly followed his orders and climbed onto the bed. Then we had sex together. It was almost 3 in the morning, and we lay together, my husband between us, finally satisfied. I was half asleep when he shook me slightly. "You need to go back to your room. I need to sleep." I was shocked, angry that he was sending me away. He leaned over and kissed me, and I saw that Jessica was already out of bed, waiting for me. I stood up, and we gathered her things and left my husband. She ran a bath, and I took a quick shower and went to bed. I left a wake-up call at 7:30 in the morning. We were supposed to have breakfast with David at 8:45. I was almost asleep when she climbed into bed, snuggling next to me. "You had to try. He was on a roll tonight," she whispered. Then her lips touched mine, a long, slow kiss before she pressed herself against me again, her hand on my chest. "That was the sexiest thing I've ever seen," I told her, groping her breasts. Like everything about her, she was perfect and natural. My inhibitions lit up like a Christmas tree. "I know, he's amazing." Her eyes were closed, and in the dim light of the room, I thought I saw a smile on her face. I woke up to the bed rocking and David having sex with Jessica next to me. Jessica tried to be quiet, and David treated her carefully. It looked like they were trying not to bother me. I reached out, and they stopped for a second. As I pressed myself closer to Jessica, David continued again. I almost laughed. "Will he ever get enough of you?" Jessica took my hand in hers, squeezing it. "No, I'm not complaining." I quietly watched them. I couldn't believe I was getting horny watching my husband with another girl. He looked surprised, then smiled slowly. "Would you like to try it, Anna?" "A little, only if you want. I don't want to interfere," I said. I saw his kind smile, love in his eyes, and I opened my arms to him. He lowered himself, taking his weight into those massive arms, his lips touching mine, kissing me, conveying his love. I smiled and looked at Jessica. This is what it means when he loves you. My man. His hand caressed my cheek, gently brushing away my hair. His kisses covered my face. I looked into his eyes and saw sadness, shame. His eyes sparkled. "Jessica," I said firmly, "go to the other room. Now. He'll call you." She looked shocked, but without a word she climbed off the bed and walked out. "Close the door," I shouted after her. "I'm sorry, Anita. I'm so sorry," he sobbed. I've never seen him cry, never shed a tear. It broke my heart. I kissed his lips softly. "Don't apologize. I understand now. I understand, and I love you more than ever." "How can you?" he asked, his voice trembling. "You don't like her. Hell, David, she barely even likes you." "I'm ashamed," he whispered. "No, my love. Don't. Never. I love you, and I want you to be happy. Smile at me. Let me know that you love me." I kissed him again and felt his hands hug me, squeeze me tightly, too tightly. It became difficult for me to breathe. I kissed his neck, his shoulders, calming him down. I've never seen him so vulnerable. My persistence to see all this almost broke him, the best man I've ever known. When I could think again, I looked into his loving eyes and kissed him tenderly. "I'm sorry I'm so selfish. I promised not to interfere." "Nonsense. You are my wife, and it's your day off. I won't interfere anymore while we're here, but I might want to stay a little involved." He smiled, looking a little surprised. "You really don't mind?" "God, I love you so much, Anita." In the morning, David emerged from his room, looking elegant as always. He turned towards the elevator, but stopped, throwing his elbows out to the sides. I took one elbow and Jessica took the other. He walked with a spring in his step, and I could only hope that he was proud to be seen with me. Breakfast was businesslike. He was looking through his notes, and I was working on his briefcase. We ate mostly in silence. When he finished his coffee, he looked up. "I'll call when I'm done. Don't know when that will be. Expect to be ready any time after 6. It could be before 11. Make sure you know where Jake is." We both nodded in agreement, and we headed to the limousine. No pranks this time, just a kiss for each of us when we dropped him off. "Good luck, handsome," I told him. He smiled at me, straightened his suit, and entered the building. Jake closed the door, and I was left alone with the seductress, with a bitch, my rival. She was nervous, I could see it. She looked at me carefully. "Where?" I asked. "Shopping? The show." "No shows," I said. "Jake," I called, "where are the best shops?" "5 minutes from here," he said, and we set off. I looked at her. Stunningly beautiful, incomparable. I couldn't help but smile. "You are her," she said quietly. "Who am I?" I answered innocently. She seemed to have gained courage. "You are her. Wife." I saw how he looked at you. The look she gave me made it clear that these were not my physical qualities. "He loves me. What can I say?" I laughed because it was true. She fell silent, looking at me in amazement. "God, you're a lucky girl. How the hell did you do that?" I laughed even harder. "I didn't do anything. He pursued me like I was the only thing in the world that mattered. He's the best, most wonderful husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve his love. Hell, I probably don't deserve her." "But you let him? I mean, with other women like me?" "I never let him. This is new to me. It's difficult, but I don't have much choice. He needs his outlets, and I'm determined to make sure he's happy." She moved closer to me. It would have been uncomfortably close if it weren't for the last 18 hours we'd spent together. "How is he?" she asked. "Oh, Jess, you wouldn't believe it if I told you. He is the best, most loving husband, and it's true. Honestly. But you know what we did." "He's amazing, isn't he?" I teased her. "God, yes." I looked into her open, honest face. I think she was half in love with him, poor thing. I stroked her cheek and kissed her tenderly. "Then you are a lucky woman, aren't you?" She looked into my eyes, and I hoped there was nothing scary there. "How can I compete with you?" she finally whispered. She could not. She defeated me in every visible aspect. We both knew it. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't surpass me. You can't, can you? I explained. She couldn't deny this fact. She shook her head, and I hugged her as she cried on my shoulder. I was sad for her. The trip was difficult for me, but it crushed her dream. Now she realized that she was just a distraction. We stood at our destination for several minutes before I was able to calm her down. I kissed her and wiped away her tears. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do this to interfere. I just needed to understand why he needed more than I could give. Someone like you. You're incredible, you know. Not that incredible, she pouted. No, not enough to win him from me. That will never happen, you have to understand. But you are still special to him, something he desperately needs. I will no longer interfere with your time together. He needs you. Unfortunately for you, he loves me. She looked sad. You know, right? You know I would steal it if I could. Of course I do. Anyone would. I know who he is. Aren't you mad at me? Jessica asked pitifully. No, honey. I'm not angry. I'm proud of him and grateful to you. You make him so happy. When he comes back from trips, he becomes a new person. Thank you. What now? She asked. Now, we go shopping, have fun, and spend his money. Then we bring him back to the room, and you do what I can't do. You satisfy him completely and hand him back to me completely satisfied and exhausted. The corner of her talented lips lifted slightly into a smile. I can do it. I know you can. I'm counting on you, you little bitch. God, I wish I could. I took her hands in mine and squeezed them lightly. Now I need you to help me. I must be worthy of him. Make me beautiful. She smiled widely and kissed me. It was a warm, loving kiss without much passion. I can do that too, you know. I was hoping you would say that. By 8 in the evening, he had not called, and we became like old friends. We need to eat. If he hasn't called by now, it means he's closing the deal. It will be late. What do you mean closes the deal? We walked up to the limo, and her instructions to Jake were simple. Dinner, seafood, somewhere quiet. He nodded, and we got into the limousine. What about closes the deal? I asked again. There's some woman there who makes the decision. He convinces her as only he knows how. This happens 2/3 of the time. That's why he gets these contracts. Convincing her? You mean he's sleeping with her? I asked. I felt anger boiling inside me. This was not part of the agreement. You know how he is. A couple of hours with this woman and the contract is in his pocket. We should be grateful that there is a woman in a leadership position somewhere. Once I lose him for the evening, the deal is practically sealed. She looked at me and fell silent. Damn, you didn't know, did you? Not a bit. She leaned back, sighing heavily. Damn, I ruined everything. Please don't tell him what I said. He'll never forgive me for this. No, it's not your fault. He should have known that if he did it on this trip, I'd find out. It was obvious. Damn, he wanted me to find out. He's tired of secrets. You think so? Asked Jessica. Yes, I'm sure. It's just his nature. Don't worry. We'll discuss this surprise when I get home. We won't let it ruin our perfect day. Dinner was excellent, and we were a little tipsy when we got back to our rooms. They often tried to get our attention, but Jessica knew how to deal with it. In our room, we undressed, and she began her preparations. I didn't need any preparations. Tonight was her evening. I felt good about our day, and when I looked at myself in the mirror, I knew my husband would be proud of me. Once we were both ready, we climbed into bed and played for a bit, chatting like schoolgirls while our hands roamed over our bodies. Between kisses, she asked me how she should behave. You know, like always, be who he sees you as. I'll handle the rest. Here my husband opened the door between our rooms. She started to pull away, but I held her in place. Welcome home, my love. Have you made a deal? He smiled, and I saw a little concern in his eyes. He was caught red-handed. Signed a contract with support for 2 years. Got something to celebrate with us? Always, he replied. He looked at the beautiful girl in bed with me, then stopped and looked at me carefully. God and Anna, you're beautiful. What were you two doing? I felt a trembling run through my body. Anita, she knows, it was pretty obvious. He undressed and stopped. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Don't apologize. I insisted on being here and I couldn't resist. It's okay. Hell, it's even better than okay. Get in here, handsome, and let's wear this poor girl out. He did just that, and this time I helped him. We hugged, she lay between us. We were still enjoying her body while he confessed his love to me and kissed me. At night he used her again, and then again he came between us. In the morning I woke up from his gentle and affectionate movements. David, I moaned helplessly. I'm sorry, he whispered. Couldn't resist. Don't apologize. Whatever you need is yours. If I can be a part of that, so much the better. We took a nap after calling down to arrange a late checkout. We had breakfast in our room and played in bed. We showered together, playfully, and I was pleased to see that we had drained him. The flight home was quiet, and when we arrived home, I knew I had to say something. The elephant in the room threatened to blow up the walls. Do you love me? I asked. More than anything, he said nervously. Show me. He smiled and picked me up and carried me into our bedroom. I got his love, not this wild, uncontrollable, animalistic sexual desire that Jessica got. I received true love. I lay there hugging him. I like her. He laughed. I never expected this outcome. She loves you, you know. I know. There's nothing I can do about it. Are you happy, my love? I asked. Only if you're happy, he said. I knew it was true. My happiness was the most important thing to him. You were naughty, you know, making deals. He blushed. It was so cute to see. You have no idea how hard this is. God, sometimes I hate this part. I ran my hand over his chest, kissing his broad shoulder. You're doing this for us, I understand, but no more secrets, okay? None. It was killing me. I kissed my man on the lips. I'm happy, I said, and I will make you proud of me. I will be a better wife. I can't imagine how, he whispered. It's nothing. I know. Now go to sleep, my wonderful man. You and your little bitch have me exhausted. He laughed. It surprised me. Me too. You don't want to do this more often, do you? Not at home. He smiled. On trips? Maybe. We'll see. I'm still not a trophy wife, but my husband claims I look better than the day we met. Jessica works with me, as does Luen from Los Angeles. I have a team of professionals who make the most of what I have. My husband carries himself with dignity, and I know he is proud to be with me. I rarely refuse him anything, and oddly enough, he has become less demanding, understanding my limitations. I met most of his girls. We get along. I consider Jessica, Luen, and Bethany from Houston friends. I travel with him less than a third of the time, but he now calls me and keeps me updated on speakerphone. It drives me crazy, and when he comes back, I try to wear him down. Now that I'm 3 months pregnant, the poor guy adores me even more. I will be traveling a lot less, but he has promised to bring some girls home so I can watch him in action. I'm looking forward to it. One day, he asked me if I wanted revenge. I had to laugh in his face, and I think that made him a little angry. David, honey, you're giving me more than I can handle. If I had the energy or the capacity for more, why the hell would I look for anything less than what I have at home? I'm not sure he accepted my explanation, but I called Jessica and begged her to convince him. New York is now his strongest region, and he sees her at least once every 3 trips. She admitted that he wears her out. But she complied with my request, and when he returned from that trip, he never asked me again if I wanted another man. Some of you probably think that I am less than a woman by allowing my man to see other women and getting pleasure from watching it. All I can say is that I am incredibly happy, and so is my husband. I know that he loves me with all his heart and soul. Seriously, how much more can a woman ask for? Subscribe to our channel so that your love doesn't cheat on you, and go ahead and listen to the next story, because this story is nothing compared to the next one. If you're under 18, don't even think. Click to the next one. Click to the next one. Click to the next one. Click to the next one.